Okay. I think we can get started. Hey everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Um, so I want to kind of structure the all hands a little differently today, just to make sure everything gets covered in a timely manner. We'll do product launches and updates first. Then we'll do all things engineering. We'll get some updates, and then after that we can do in anything related to business, events, etc. Just to make sure there's enough time for everyone. So I am going to share my screen, and let's take a look at got too many windows open. Let's take a look at our launches. The list is growing. For folks who are watching, I've had a few questions. People are wondering why dates change so frequently. If you actually look at the issues, those dates are it's next date, not launch date, right? So they're supposed to outline the next significant milestone, right? So when we're talking about, for example, deploying something on testnet, mainnet, that date represents that next milestone, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean it's the go live date, right? So just bear that in mind when you're looking at these dates. And the reason why they change is because we've hit those milestones, and now we have a new milestone for the next phase. You'll need to look at the individual issue to understand the different ETAs. Okay. So let's start with BTC Bridge. Ganesha, if you wouldn't mind giving us an update on that, the
Yeah.
vaults.
Yeah, last week we announced the vault program, and we received like over 80 participants interested in launching the vaults. I think if Daniel, I'm correct, somewhere between 5 to 10 million overall like worth of vault participation was expressed. I think most people don't necessarily express like how much they want to collateralize when they run the vault. The actual numbers may vary when they get more confidence towards the launch, but the participation is I mean, we received a good number of participation, which is a good metric for us to move forward towards the launch. The second thing is we are running running a training session for vault providers sometime tomorrow evening, and we'll also record the session and make it available for anyone later on to go through offline and get ready for the participation or launch. The third thing is contracts are more or less ready to be sent out today, tomorrow to audit firm, and after that we will probably continue testing and making sure everything is ready for towards the launch date. Anything else I missed, Daniel or anyone else? We are also working with Peter on the launch partner, trying to cover multiple different products towards as launch partners, so that we can attract more users, right, when we launch the page. Anything to add on?
I don't think there's anything else to add. Yeah, it was we received way more responses to the participation questionnaire than we were originally anticipating, right? Like you said, over 80. I think we calculated somewhere between like 5 and up to 10 million in one as collateral. Yeah, people just seem pretty excited to launch an external vault. So really looking forward to tomorrow's live session.
And that is being recorded, is that right?
Yes, it can be. Originally, I kind of wasn't expecting to have it recorded, only because it's going to be our first one, and I figured that maybe with our first one, it might be a little rough, kind of going through, and there's going to be a lot of Q&A as well, which is great. But I think for a recording that we're going to put out there, maybe we hold a more private session. Maybe that's not with 20, 30 people, but instead recorded offline. But
we can
talk about that later. Yeah.
Okay, great. And the dates are still looking accurate?
Yeah, it should be okay.
Okay, great. Any updates on Ethereum bridge? I know that's kind of taken a backseat because of BTC bridge. Any updates there?
I put like a couple of resources on finishing up the pending tasks. They're going all in like from this week, so we should have progress next week.
Okay. Any other updates on other bridges? The Polygon bridge, Cosmos bridge?
Cosmos bridge, I think. Yeah, I created. They had two currently blocker from outside. One is ED 25519 pre-compile that has to be made available on our EVM so that they can run the Cosmos Light Client smart contract in Harmony. So I created an issue and found a person who can complete that. So that will be done this week. And the second blocker is they need some clarification on the Harmony Light Client that will be deployed on the Cosmos side. They're building a WASM Light Client. They need some clarity and specifications, which I'll help them this week. With these two, they're already making progress on the independent parts, that parts of other parts of the Cosmos bridge. With these two, I think they'll have basically unblock everything else. But in terms, I think every weekly they're providing an update in the Slack channel. But once in, I think every 2 weeks they'll have substantial updates for us. As soon as I receive something substantial, I'll relay it here or update in the page.
Yeah, if you could just update those dates as well. Great, thank you. Anything else from you, Ganesha, before we move on?
Good, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
RJ, you have some updates on your side on the streaming sync and I guess the MetaMask staking as well?
So for the staking precompiled feature is already fully reviewed, locally tested, and the code is merged. It should be on testnet right now, and the feature will be enabled tonight on testnet. So we're gonna start testing the staking precompiled feature integrated with our staking dashboard too in the testnet version. So users can do delegate, undelegate, collect rewards, basically through MetaMask by sending a smart contract transaction. And we also provided another feature called migrate, which means you can directly send all your stake token to a new address without having to undelegate and wait for 7 epoch and do the transfer again. So we're gonna leave it in testnet for definitely like a couple days and do the full testing, and before we do the mainnet release. Yeah. So on cross-shard smart contract transaction, last week has had some more communication with the mutual knowledge system team. Still, there are a couple of kind of critical questions we haven't resolved. So this week we're going to have a kind of just an online meeting to talk through that, to move forward with the final design. That's mostly it.
Got it. Thank you.
Sorry,
Leo,
can I ask a quick question on that?
yes.
Yeah, RJ, do we communication to our partners? Have we kind of started on that, and how can we help with that?
Which one?
For I guess either one, either just as a heads up, or maybe some educational materials, that assets that we can share with partners or
You mean
users.
for the staking precompile?
That one, and also the what was the other one? The cross shard, anything like that. that we
The
need?
cross shard is not even implemented. This is far away from like
Okay.
launch. It's just in the design phase. So for the staking precompile, yeah, we can start like talking about like communication right now. Definitely, our staking dashboard need to be fully updated to make it user friendly for the new features. We could provide like a guide page for the staking precompile in the dashboard. Other than that, it's mostly for the users. So it's for the end users to migrate their stake token to MetaMask. Yeah.
Who's the best person to work with on that? On your team?
Let me see. Yeah, it's mostly me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Thanks.
Okay. Leo, do you have any updates? Anything on state pruning? Any updates there?
So we call it the beacon chain deep pruning. The code is merged, and we're preparing some of the guidance and also a snapshot for the validator. And this haven't released yet. So once we release the validator on shard 1 to 3, will they be able to use this like deep pruning support on the beacon chain, so that they don't have to host all the beacon chain data. Right now it's close to like 1 terabyte. Internally, we're gonna roll out this feature internally at first. So I think this week we're looking for the rollout of this feature internally at first. So the public release will be the next step.
Okay. Thank you.
So basically, the feature is already merged. So anyone like listen to us, they want to try it out on their node, they can definitely build the latest code and try it out already. Yeah.
Great. Any other updates from you, Leo?
Still working on the Rosetta testing. So we found a new issue and still fixing that.
Okay. Great. Just quick update on my side. The graph integration that's going through. Thank you, Jack, for helping set that up. Looks like that is good to go by the end of February. We'll have full graph integration. And I guess the last one, Boris, do you have any updates on the 20% fixed income on one wallet?
Yeah, we set the deadline for early February. I've been coding heavily on this. It's moving forward. We're still on track. There were some changes. I moved to previous approach to using Terra's SDK, Terra.js, and everything seems to be going on top. I had a meeting with the guy who's going to help me with the front end on Friday, and he seems to be available by the end of this week, so he will be able to help me on the visuals of the wallet. So yeah, we are moving accordingly.
Great. All right, thanks. Anyone? Any other questions or any updates, product updates, launches that we need to cover? Okay. Great. Shifting gears now. Jack, would you mind giving us an update on just the status of the network plans and anything else you want to share? Is Jack on the call? Yeah. What happened to
Yeah,
Jack?
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, I didn't see you.
A lot of
Sorry.
people on the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So there are plans to start extending our improvements that have been in place. We understand that there may have been a couple of hiccups along the way, but that's just part of the learning process that we're going through. So we thank the community for being really patient here and working through with us. A lot of teams have reached out and either suggested to host their own RPC endpoints or even wanted to help be a part of the network to help with scaling. We're doing a few things, in particularly trying to figure out how to best serve all of the users and how to segment them out between users that are using MetaMask, usually using the API Harmony 1 endpoint, and the developer endpoint. So there's some work related to trying to split that traffic up. There's some work related to making sure that any calls coming from, we're going back to the whole concept of, any calls coming back from where you are, you get to the closest host to be able to get a quicker response time. And also we are working internally about trying to see how do we best filter out a malicious activity from healthy ones and real user traffic. So those are always going to be a constant battle. It's never a work being done. There's always going to be new things that's coming up. So we're working both at the cloud infrastructure level, on the Web 2 level, and also at the Web 3 level, on the chain itself, sorry, to see how we can best help out there. I'm sure there's more to add. RJ, Leo, feel free to jump in if there's anything.
Yes, so we definitely, RPC services are still kind of struggling to fulfill all the users' demand. And we're trying to figure out the root cause. One of the very potential root cause actually probably from the dApp side. Definitely, I looked into the DFK dApp, and when I open the app on the developer console in Chrome, basically in like a couple of minutes, the DFA apps send like more than 1,000 requests to our RPC, and every second it sends more than 2 requests, which is a lot in terms of like just a normal dApps. And since we haven't got a very high level relimiting by the user IP functionality, basically we don't have a quota for any of the user. Like the dApps can send any amount of traffic to our RPC, and that's one of the key reasons we get so much traffic. Is because there's just no limit. Any of the dApps can send unlimited traffic to our endpoint. And for most of the other blockchains, for their endpoint, they have a user-based relimiting, like 100 requests per minute. There's a limit because the endpoint has limited resources, right? And the dApps and the users should have a quota to themselves. And right now we're missing that piece. We're working, the team is talking with Cloudflare to integrate with their cloud kind of gateway infrastructure. And in that we can have like IP-based, user-based relimiting feature implemented. But right now it's still in the discussion. We probably still need to take a few more days to get integrated. And in the meantime, I think, Peter, we should schedule a meeting with DFK team, especially their core developers, to understand how they're using our RPCs, right? Because clearly right now I see they're not using it in the most efficient way. There are definitely rooms for improvement, such as one of the RPCs called get logs. Is not very cheap, but DFK is using that as if it's free, right? It's calling it just as you should always response, but that's not the case. So optimization things, potential optimizations is they could like just query all the kind of the data from our backend and then store it in their own data in their own database, and then for their dApps, for their users, query that database separately instead of paying our endpoint and each of the requests is serving the data like once again, right? They could make it all together, bunch it all together. Because right now, the logs RPC and the EVM call RPC basically covers like 90 or 80, more than 80% of the traffic. And that's basically overloading our RPC all the time.
RJ, I was just going to recommend, I mean, this information is very valuable for all dApps, right? Building on Harmony.
Yes.
Do you think it would be worth, doing a document, it could be a blog post that actually goes over some of these issues that we should just share with all builders, right?
I think this is the kind of standard kind of a EVM dApps building kind of practice. But there should be a lot of them for optimizations for dApps. Right now, I think our issue is we don't have the rate limiting, right? They don't have the incentive to basically optimize their code. They're just expecting whatever request I send, you should respond. That shouldn't be the case. So yeah, we should do both, add the rate limiting properly, and also educate our partners to make efficient code.
Great.
I'm meeting with the DFK team tomorrow for lunch. I will bring this up, and then I'll also set up a meeting with their engineering team. I think what would be helpful is to maybe start a best practices Google Doc, and then let's iterate on that. And I'd love for that to go on in our docs so that we can share that with all partners, but specifically with DFK and when we have that meeting with their engineering team, so that they can see kind of your line of thinking and how they can optimize their code. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool.
Okay.
Could also alternatively set up like Twitter Space talks or using Discord audio, for example, just as a standout for all dApp developers if they want to hop on. So at least we can propagate this in live in real life sort of way.
This is potentially something that, in fact, this is definitely something that the developer DAO should assist with, right? They have their weekly calls. It's within their mandate. So I think if we share this information with them, they can run with it, right? And do tutorials and answer questions on the Thursday meetings.
Yeah, let's figure out the what first.
Yeah.
Like all of the ways in which our partners can optimize for performance on their side, best practices we could share, and then let's kind of figure out how we distribute that, either through Twitter Spaces or whatever. The distribution will come after we figure out the what.
Mm-hmm. Great. Anything else, guys? Anything else, RJ, on the network?
No, that's mostly. Yeah.
Okay. And anything else from the engineering side? Anyone else that needs to cover anything? If not, we can move on to the next topic, which is Eth Denver, the elephant in the room.
Elephant? What are you talking about?
Well, it's friendly elephant.
It's the thing that we're all
Actually-
anticipating. We're all so incredibly excited for.
It's a buffacorn. It's a buffacorn, not an
It's
elephant.
not an elephant in the room. It's a
Buffacorn.
buffacorn in the room.
Sure. Go for it, Sam.
Okay, so Adrian and I have been working nonstop. I don't know how many hours we worked on this over the weekend, Adrian, but it's you know, awesome. I always love working with you, sir. So I wanted to give everyone a really quick couple of notes. We have what we're calling a run of show that's coming together on Notion very well. And it lists out every day when various things are kicking off, right? So for example, on the 16th, when we need to do our build out for our big event that evening, we know what time that needs to start and where. So I need to make sure I scrub it to make sure there aren't any surprises in there before we push it live, but I'll push it live here shortly after this meeting. A couple of things that I did want to confirm with all of you. So the team is beginning to arrive between the 8th and the 10th of February. I'll be there as of the 8th. The BIDL week or the building week, BIDL is how they like, BUIDL is how they like to call it. That's the actual hackathon, starts the 11th. We will have a bounty presentation that day. And of course, since Harmony's a sponsor, we're going to present some bounties. And so I have some homework from you people, from everybody here. What are the bounties that we want to incentivize? We're putting up $50,000 for bounties for Eth Denver. And I want to understand from everybody, what does that look like? All right. So that's, you know, step number one. And then throughout the week, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you guys can participate in. We have a fantastic venue right across the street from where everyone is staying during this week, the hack week, that you guys can come over. And so the other thing I want to do is have technical people there to do open office hours. So for those of you who are willing to sit down and basically answer questions from the hackers for periods of time throughout the day, please let me know. I talked to, I believe Boris said he was on board, and a few others have said you're on board. So we need to start organizing that so people know where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be. Because, you know, one of the things that we have to think about is in Eth Denver, yes, we're going there in a big way to show Harmony's on the ground, but also we have to make sure we care for these up and coming hackers. So we need to teach them and we need to mentor them and we need to empower them to accomplish what they're going to do. February 14th, which for some of us, we really think of as Valentine's Day, but we are going to be having what is currently being called the One Big Blue Heart event, which is highlighting women in Web3. So be prepared to have a good time that night. And there's going to be a panel. There's going to be all sorts of really, really cool things. And of course, on the run of show and on the documents, you'll be able to see the location. It's actually in a church. So you're going to church. I'm taking all of you to church. But it's actually a very, very cool venue. Adrian found it. So, and then on the 16th is our one big day. I'm not going to say anything else a lot about that right here because there's still some surprises regarding the one big day that I really look forward to you guys participating in. Now, the 17th is the kickoff. So that's going to be the big opening ceremony for what Eth Denver calls the main event. And the main event will be a series of workshops and panels and keynotes and all of that stuff. During the kickoff, of course, Stephen will have a keynote that he will give. On the 19th, which is a Saturday, we will actually have a fantastic panel focused in on Africa, which is very exciting. That's in the Web3 castle itself. So this is where everybody is located. And it'll have a big impact. So you guys can all have fun and participate there. And then the actual hackathon ends on the 20th, and then we all take off, except for those of us who really want to go up to Breckenridge, which we recommend that everybody comes, right, Lee? Everyone's coming to Breckenridge.
Yes, everyone.
For an offsite for a couple of days, for the 21st through the 24th. And we'll be doing, I think we're going to try and have some nice TGI events up in Breckenridge as well. So I just wanted to give you the really quick lay of the land. Everything is coming together very nicely. We're about 3 weeks out. If you have not booked your flight yet, book your flight. Also work closely with Essa and Matt, and they will help you line up making sure that you are all signed up to check into your hotel. We have a bunch of hotels set up. And I just want to make sure that everybody is covered. Let me pause right there and ask, A, if there's any questions from the general audience, and B, Adrian, if I missed anything vitally important that you would like to add.
Has
I'll
anyone
just-
not been in touch with Essa? Okay, good.
For anyone,
You're all accounted for.
I was just gonna say that for anyone that is coming to Eth Denver, if you're staying with us, you need to get in touch with Essa somehow to make sure that you have your name on the room. So we have the rooms, but now we need the names for everything. And I'm pretty sure she's on it for most of it. But yeah, just throwing that out there because this is being recorded. So and Sam hit everything that about Eth Denver. So
Also, Adrian has basically 3 or 4 U-Hauls worth of swag that he's bringing to Denver. Ooh, he has some good stuff that he's producing for this in general, which is really exciting.
Also, I'm gonna say, since this is public, basically some of this swag is really special, and the way to get it is it won't be on the table. The way to get it is to engage in a conversation with the team. And yeah, that's how you get the good stuff. So
I will reiterate this. I won't put any details in because as Adrian said, this is going to be out public. Lee can put in details if he thinks it should be public. But don't forget, as of last Wednesday, everybody has 2 different quests that they need to accomplish at Eth Denver. And so you all are going to be needing to talking to a bunch of builders and projects and everybody you can talk to, because the 2 quests that we were all assigned last Wednesday, that requires some boots on the ground to make that happen.
Yeah, it's actually fully public already on harmony.1/Denver. The entire world can see it. Actually, a swag would be a nice thing to, like, if you like someone and you're going to give them a grant, just give them the swag as a pre-approval.
Yeah. So we're all giving out grants, and there's a bunch of different things. So take a look at harmony.1/Denver to see what your quests are. All right, that's it for me, from my desk.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Adrian, anything else to add?
Sam covered it.
Okay.
So yeah, we worked really, we worked all weekend on I think we're coming under budget, Sam, which is,
don't make promises yet, Adrian. Don't make promises yet.
I'll take the extra funds. Leftovers.
I'm
one
sure
thing I
we'll
will
find
say, yeah.
But yeah,
I have
think
2 links. Yeah, go ahead, Adrian. Sorry, go.
I think we're healthy. I think it's good, and I think we have a lot of cool things planned. And we're still building out the actual speaking portion of it. So if you want to speak, maybe get in touch with us. So yeah.
There are 2 links that I'm going to drop into the Harmony mainnet channel for everyone. One is the official list of events that Eth Denver is collating. And then there's the unofficial side events list, so you can take a look at it. All of our events will be on there by the end of the day is the plan. But so that's all there as well. Some of our events are already on there, but we just got a new Google document this morning. Thank you, Lee, for putting us in contact with the Alpha team.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, guys. Lee, any updates from you before we go to breakout rooms?
Yeah. One question about Eth Denver. For the bounties, maybe Sam, you can write out what the parameters are, and then just ask each of the engineers to help, like whether they're bounties or there's just things that we want apps to be built. Only other thing is, so I was counting this morning, there's 18 days until ETH Denver. Let's actually, by the time we go to ETH Denver, everyone will have a huge new list of people to engage. So tell all of our partners, let's launch before ETH Denver. Like, I'm definitely pinging a bunch of people, whether it's our friends at Berkeley to do oh, it's public, it's fine. But we actually told Give this on last Wednesday that we want to do $1 million campaign with Berkeley entrepreneurs to give them 20 launch grants at 50K each. So whatever ideas you have now, like let's figure out, let's ask our partners to announce launch before we go to ETH Denver, because by the time you go, like there'll be 500 other new projects to do. And we won't be like, as much as we think we'll like announce, we'll have a few things we'll have for Denver, but all the other pipeline, let's figure out how to get through them, because there'll be more coming soon.
Good. Anything else? Anyone? Okay. Enjoy your week, and I'll send you to the breakout rooms. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.